Hello there, namaste. So I know you're all as excited as I am for the next episode of the Acolyte. Episode, I can't remember, 6. Yeah, let's just get into it. Isn't it just the greatest show so far to come to Disney Star Wars? Wait a minute. Did he have an entire base on that planet? Or has she been knocked out for a long period of time? Did he have an entire base on Wookiee Planet number 4 or Kashyyyk X, or what did I call it? Forest Planet X. Was she smelling it to find out if it was like something sweet or savory or something? Is it too spicy for me to drink? It's not like there's gonna be poison left around. Why smell it? Is this soda? Does it sound citrusy when I open it? It's just the dumbest thing. I always hate it. Hate it in films and shows and stuff where they just have them kind of sniff something as if it's going to do anything. Has anyone tried to sniff like something that's carbonated? Now, let's say carbonated water. If you smell that and it's got like a citrusy kind, you can smell it. You can tell it actually smells really good. But it's just like, you can also tell because it's bubbling. But I just find it dumb that she has to smell it as if it's poison, as if he couldn't take her out whenever he wanted. his martial arts training center. In any Ip Man movie you have seen, or Jackie Chan. Oh wait, no, that's a fence. I was reminding me of those martial arts things which the wood statues would spin around and you'd block, kick, and everything. The time you hit one, they'd start to spin. I would be taken out by one of those things. I'll just be honest. There's no way I'd be able to spar with one of those things. I'd block one thing and then it'd swing around and hit me in the head. There's no way I'd be able to. My mind, I just can't move like that. Let's just say that. I'll be honest. I'm willing to be honest that my ineptitude with martial arts. I am big, so I could easily use my size to my advantage if I was to get in a fight, but I have no skill or technique when it comes to that. Just like with dancing. I just can't. My mind doesn't work that way. No. He has his own private island. Maybe his own private planet that has his own private island on it. Oh, I nailed it. It's a private island. I nailed it. I knew it. Unknown planet. Again, it's his own private island on his own private planet and his base. How did he keep her knocked out for at least a day or two, depending on how far it would have taken to get there, depending on the light speed travel that they would have needed to do? How long? How far away is it? And why take her out of the ship, drag her through the ocean, take her to your base when you could have just left her on the ship, where there's probably more medical, whatever, supplies on the ship, because his home is a cave. Don't ask questions. Don't think about it. Aw, a family of little things. They're going to try selling those as a toy. Mark my words. Or probably already have. Wait a minute. Or did they collect the Jedi's bodies? What the heck? Wouldn't they have known where I'm not going to think about it. Oh, he's going to cry. So, this is how they're going to continue with the canon, even though they destroyed it with Muck TV and Alive, that they don't know that there is a Sith. The Sith have been extinct for a millennia because the one that existed, but I forget it. They introduce that he can read minds. The reason why the guy was wearing that Magneto's helmet, the smiley Magneto's helmet, the smiley Kylo Ren helmet. Sorry. The reason why he was wearing that was to block out the thoughts coming from, so the master couldn't read his thoughts. But he can't read this person's thoughts, the instinct to kill. You know, people have an instinct. There is a sixth sense that actually is out there. Have you ever felt when someone's eyes are upon you and you kind of look in that direction? There is this vibe you get. There is this feeling you get. There is a true sixth sense. It's like a third eye, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. This is a Jedi Master. Someone is sneaking up on him with the instinct to kill. Nothing but hatred. How, when a normal human being can feel something when someone's just staring at them, normally it's passive. But this is a trained Jedi Master. And nothing. Of course, he'll probably sense it in the last minute, but this is just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Basically, as ridiculous as someone who is not even Force sensitive can use the Force. How do you take out a Jedi Master without a weapon? Crash the ship. Crash the ship, take the escape pod. Make sure they are doomed to fail. Of course, the other sister could survive a ship crash, not the Jedi Master. So they did leave all the bodies behind. One of the only people that I could actually feel, you could see the emotion on him. And it's funny, English isn't even, he learned English for this role, and the fact that you can somewhat feel his, like, I didn't care for his apprentice, there was no relationship there, but I can be honest that you can kind of feel it in this scene, the fact that he is actually devastated, the fact that he actually had to leave his ex-disciple in the cockpit in order to feel the turmoil on his own. Oh my. Okay. This is one of the most... He's undressed, unarmed, and her goal is to stab him in the back. Remember, these two switched places. One of them's supposed to be the good one of them's supposed to be the bad one. She was the one who told her master not to kill him the last episode. Correct? Why is it she's wanting to assassinate a disarmed, now nude man? If you weren't going to do it when he was fully clothed, allowing your master to do it, what gives you the right to do it? What is right? What is wrong? It's like the people who wrote this decided to flip on a dime. It was like, let's flip this coin and see if their principles will change in the next episode. Or it's like they didn't even realize that they were changing their principles, because her intention is to now take out the man that she claimed, no, you can't do this. You can't kill him. And then she put the light on his back hoping he'd die. And now she's trying to do it again. What is the point here? Nothing makes sense. Wait a minute. Does that scene make any sense to you? I mean, the Force is real, I guess. So, the ocean's on one side. This pond literally looks like it's at ocean level, collecting everything. And then you have a waterfall that's going even lower than the high tide. How? But just fantasy world, it's okay, boy. It's okay. Sorry, my dog isn't happy when I start to get all heated about stuff. It just doesn't make sense. If you turn that on, it's gonna make more noise than the blade you're holding.
How does it feel
to stare upon a nude gentleman?
I'm wondering if it's honorable to kill me like this.
She doesn't care. She was climbing behind you to try and assassinate you a moment ago. Of course, you're more intelligent than the Jedi Master. So, of course, you could sense her from the beginning. I mean, there's no way you didn't see her in the beginning, but...
Why bring me here? Why not kill me?
I need an acolyte.
Do you want to take a look?
How has he not noticed the tattoo yet?
The entire team.
So I guess we got weak male number 2, 3, 4... Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to presume. Weak person number something. That there's no Jedi. There was the first the big one that just didn't seem. It reminds me of those jokes about the donuts and the policeman. It just one of those things. Just no. They needed their donut loving policeman, I guess. Their donut loving Jedi. And now they have the weasel-looking one.
And his strength in the Force is very powerful.
It took two, well, first soul, and then his master, a Padawan, for some reason, to challenge him when like 8 Jedi Knights couldn't do anything. Whatever.
I'd start swimming if you want to make it to the ship before sundown, or you could wait for the tide to go out.
She doesn't need to swim. If you look behind her, there is this tiny little bit that she just needs to wade through. Maybe ankle, knee deep. And then she's got a bridge that she can cross easily to the ship. You don't need to take more than a few minutes. Oh, you better get going before sundown. It's not that far from the ship. It's like what? Maybe, I'll be generous, 500 steps with 15 wading through water. What the heck? As if it being dark is going to make any difference. Oh my freaking gosh. Oh, this is just, he had a chance to let Master Soul know. And instead of that, he decided to challenge the what is it? I don't know. The Deceiver, all on his own for some reason. So he shut off the power in order to challenge her. I get it. Brave little rodent. Okay, this is the part where everyone's supposed to be laughing. Because it's funny. Don't you get it? It's not stupid. It's funny. It's funny that rodent is challenging someone who's force sensitive. It is hilarious. He's challenging someone who's already taken out 2 Jedi Masters easily. It's funny that he's challenging someone who was trying. I get it. So he's a cell phone. And now he's evil. Got it. He was blue for the good one, who I still think is the evil one in this whole thing. And for the evil one, he has red eyes because she reset him. No, when you take a screenshot on a phone, you press the 2 buttons and that's basically what she did. They made droid wipes seem far more immersive because even in the prequels, which are heinous to some fans, well, who used to be fans, they still introduced the fact that they needed the protocol droids' mind wiped. It is something that had to be done because you had to go in. Even like people who know technology, even if you wipe a hard drive, that stuff is still there. So the fact that these creatures are smart, just removing it isn't gonna get rid of it. You have to wipe it completely. Maybe because she didn't wipe it completely and just deleted everything on the hard drive, it's still somewhere in the trash can. And the good one is, who's now the bad one, this is getting more stupid, it's gonna see her and it just change back to normal. This is too much of a tongue twister for me. Toys, future toys.
Why do you love people who can only go so far?
What? So, the 2 days they knew each other, this guy has already picked up on the fact that she was in love with her. The Padawan, that it was just... Oh my gosh. Again, they made it way too obvious. They made it way too obvious that even this guy who has known her for what? A few hours, less than that. He tried to kill. He's only spoke to her for like a few minutes. That's about it. Other than that, he's been watching her as she slept, and the fact that he can tell that. See, this is absolutely dumb. Absolutely dumb. He's risking the possibility. Like even so, the Emperor tested Luke Skywalker's anger. Correct? Wanted to push him to the point where he could have a new disciple to replace his father. But even when Luke acted upon his anger, guess what? He had protection in place. This guy isn't wearing his, for some reason, armor that negates all lightsabers. He's not wearing anything. It makes no sense. He would think ahead to just block or defend himself or grab the saber at the same time and see, this is why you need training. This is why you need something. Something, because if she just went on her impulse here, and I don't want to go, I started thinking things to say, and I'm like, no, I probably shouldn't do that. That'd be way crossing a line, even though she is a bit angry. But it's just like, he's risking way too much here. He's gone too far to give it up on a whim. But this is supposed to be an intelligent move.
You get nauseous when you travel through hyperspace?
I don't get sick. I find it unsettling.
What? What? Hyperspace sickness? Is that a thing now? Oh my gosh, they're just... they're trying to make everything a joke. At what point? Because something like this I would see in Spaceballs as they're flying the Winnebago to another planet, and Bartholomew ends up getting sick because of all the movement. It's like, what the heck? This is one of those things that is so dumb that doesn't belong in something that's supposed to be serious. Yes, for kids, but it's still supposed to be a morality. Well, this is Disney, so it's no longer a morality tale, but it's or has origins in being a morality tale. Something that's supposed to make you feel good. Something that's supposed to give you inspiration as a man. It's supposed to be a guide for you. It's something that's supposed to spark those and give an idea for those, especially those who grew up without like a father figure. It really helps out for those. But no, this is all a joke. This is all a joke. If they didn't know she was gonna go, why did they wait for her? It's like they had no clue she was going on the mission, but until she shows up, it's like, oh, we've been ready, so we're gonna go.
How could I not have sensed that villain's true intentions?
The same reason, apparently, you can't sense the intentions of a different person standing in front of you.
May.
I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue what happened there. Did the rodent deliver the message? Did he sense something last minute? Was it just happenstance? It serves no point, but apparently now the deceiver, May, has been captured because she voluntarily went onto a ship with Master Soul, did not try to take him out, which was her intention, even though she did not want to do it anymore in episode 4. But in episode 5, which was basically the same episode as episode 4, she changed her mind like 2 minutes later. They just passed each other and they get to see all the deceased Jedi that were left behind to be picked on by the insects. They're on the Outer Rim. They are on the Outer Rim. Coruscant is the central hub of civilization. They are on the Outer Rim. There is no way they got there within 5 minutes, 10 minutes. The power has not been out for that long. The ship has not been stationary for that long. They had enough time to get the message to the master, for her to put on a cloak, to get in a ship in order to fly there. And this is just absolutely ridiculous. The laws of space travel in Star Wars is being completely obliterated. Completely. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to make any sense. It doesn't have to make any sense. This is great writing. This is great writing. Trash is trash. He's fixing the helmet, which is invulnerable to lightsabers and destroys them, but at the same time can be punched apart by a young Padawan.
What do you want?
The power of 2.
The power of 1, the power of 2, the power of many.
Kurtosis, handy against lightsabers.
What a way to destroy the Star Wars universe even more. I mean, they introduced this, now they're introducing this whole new type of metal. Then they destroy the space travel, the light speed, for some unknown reason. They just did. It's funny because in the future, ships move much slower than they moved hundreds of years ago in the Star Wars universe, it seems. Now, when you're playing things like KOTOR, it made sense to have things like vibroblades that could actually work in armor that worked against lightsabers because it's a video game. But when you get into the actual nuts and bolts of Star Wars, the video game logic doesn't really work unless it's a video game. Unless you're trying to completely destroy the Spaceballs universe you're working on.
Try it on.
I don't trust you.
Nor should you, but you should learn to trust yourself.
What does that have to do with anything? I don't trust you, nor should you, but you should use to trust yourself. So put on the helmet I told you to do. And trust me, she's going to end up putting it on because she doesn't trust him, but she trusts herself. So because she doesn't trust him and he wants her to put on the helmet, she trusts herself enough to put on the helmet he suggests. What kind of childish logic is that? This is the childish, like, I want a cookie. You can't have a cookie, but I really want a cookie. You can get it. It's just like, what I forget what the term is called, but whatever. Well, I am a little too frustrated for my brain to actually work properly. I'm looking at too much stupidity that I think I'm becoming more unintelligent as I watch it. Reverse psychology. That's the term I was thinking about. Reverse psychology. Sorry, it's just this thing is making my brain go mush. Absolute mush. They're not even bothering to move the bodies together. They're gonna leave them behind as well.
They must have survived somehow.
The battlefield went everywhere. Just because you found those few bodies doesn't mean that it didn't go other places. Wait a minute. Was they only supposed to be attracted to light? You introduced that in the past 2 episodes that they were only attracted to light, right? If they were planning on eating them, wouldn't they have started on the bodies on the ground? And here is the universe destroying. How many things can you ruin in one episode alone? In one episode alone. I've already forgotten a few of the things. I know the space travel. That's been destroyed. The lightsaber whip. I knew they had it. I was hoping it wasn't real. I was hoping that was a meme. But no, it's a thing. It's a real thing. It goes limp and hard as needed. That has very... I'm not going to say it. But it's funny how something that's meant for kids is starting to make my mind go really down a gutter. As I'm just getting so... it's like, how can this call itself Star Wars? It's Spaceballs. Because you remember, the Schwartz got twisted, and she's planning on twisting her shorts with someone else. The Schwartz is strong with her.
We should prepare these bodies for burial.
Okay. So they are going to prepare the bodies for burial. At least they did a throwaway line for it as they're getting back to the ship. They do a throwaway line. Those I'm okay with. You don't need to actually visually show things. As long as you put in a throwaway line, it's okay. It's okay.
You need to find your master. We need to save Osha. But first, you and I are going to talk.
So, instead of first, we need to save Osha. And while we're on the way, well, I guess because light speed is instantaneous and they'd get to the planet in a matter of seconds, instead of traveling there immediately, they decide to sit and talk before they do their immediate transportation to the planet where her sister's being held hostage. Of course, they've broken the universe so much, they have time to talk at this point. Because it makes sense if you're going to get there in a matter of seconds.
I've had 16 years to think about what I would say to you if I ever got the opportunity.
You thought she was dead. How would you ever... Why would you bother thinking about what you would say to her if you ever had the opportunity. When you believed that she was dead for 16 years, you only found out she was alive, what, 2, 3, 4 days ago? That was the first time you realized that she exists, was still alive? So you've had 5 days to think about what to tell her at this point. That's what you mean. Not 16 years, 5 days. I told you. I told you. I told you. Didn't I say this was going to happen? Didn't I say this was going to happen? It's simple reverse psychology. Now that I remembered the word, I'm going to use it the first time around instead of fumbling over it. It's simple reverse psychology he used on her. You use on children. But then again, this is Disney writing, and that kind of stuff works on those adults. That I use the term adults loosely when I talk about the Disney writers, but yeah, it works. He lives on a mine of this mineral. He lives on a freaking mine. If this isn't completely world destroying, I don't know what is. I do not know what is. Like, there are tales where you could tell where they're like, there are these ancient pieces of weaponry that were created by truly ancient races that have gone extinct. There have been, like, that's the one thing, like with the Knights of the Old Republic, the first one, it was created by a race that went extinct, that was force sensitive, but was neither Sith nor Jedi. They just learned the art, the Force, the way they learned it, using both emotion. It was more of a middle ground between both dark and light. It was that's where Revan basically got most of it. It's very fascinating, very fascinating. You could do stuff like that where weapons have gotten lost. The art of creating things is gotten lost, or only one race could do it, and then they went extinct, but their ancient weapon still exists through time, yet no one's has been able to replicate it. I mean, even here on Earth, there are things that ancient tribes would do that we're just rediscovering now, or only a few years ago, or we still don't truly understand, because they did things that they had figured out. Oh my gosh, they could do something like that. Not make it where it's a solid metal that you harvest. It could have been like a force-sensitive person imbued something into it. They had a way of melding, mixing their art. Like, imagine someone who's a force-sensitive welder that could actually imbue the force into objects. And that sounds more mystical, like enchanting and things like that, but you could go that route. That'd be a little more acceptable than mining the substance that destroys the world. It's funny, she can't get that thing on over her curls. And someone pick up the phone, because I effing called it. I called it. But of course, there was no other alternative. But then again, it's like you're supposed to see, like when Luke Skywalker had the blast shield down. With the blast shield down, I can't see them. Your eyes, they deceive you. Don't trust them. You know that. So that kind of leans into it, so I'm okay. But the fact that they're little Brock from Pokemon eyes, it is just... I was thinking it was going to end on a Zolly shot, at least. You know, a Zolly shot where it looks like she's now seeing past and seeing more than ever before. Because if they kind of did a Zolly shot in there where it moves forward and backwards, while at the same time they actually bring the mask and open it up, and then it clears her vision to see everything... I think that would have shown like a true sense there, like a real but then again, that's more of a cinematographer's aspect. But this episode is honestly, for me, probably one of the worst, because the other ones, I had already known some of the garbage that was coming out for it. But this one, it was just, yeah. This is just awful. This is just awful. Thank you all for watching. This show is getting worse as it continues. There is no redemption at this point for the series, the IP called Star Wars. It's just about how much more devastation they can do to it. Yeah, that's basically all it is. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles.